Good evening. Today is Political Forum on CAN TV, and I'm your host, Dartesia Pitts. Welcome, and thank you for tuning in. We welcome today Alderman Nicholas Sposato. Gotcha, of the 38th Ward here in Chicago. Welcome, Alderman.
Pleasure to be here as usual.
Yes. I'm Dartesia Pitts, like I said earlier, a board member of CAN TV. You're watching a live interactive show. We encourage you, the community, to call in and join in this conversation at 312-738-1060 as we talk to the alderman about what's going on in his ward and Chicago. During the next 25 minutes, we'll try to get as many of your calls as possible on air. So, Alderman, I always like to start with this question. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? When did you take office?
Well, I originally took office in 2011. That was, as most people know, that was for a different ward. I was elected to be alderman of the 36th ward. And in 2015, with the whole remap thing, I ran for alderman in the 38th ward, and I was elected to be alderman of the 38th ward. Now, the 36th and the 38th, with the remap, were pretty much merged together. They were pretty close to 50-50. A little bit more of 38 than there was of 36, just a slight difference. But now the new 38th ward is pretty much half 38 and half 36. So before I was an alderman,
I'm going to stop you really quick. I'm just going to show the audience what the boundaries of the ward, what they are.
Okay.
So this is the 38th ward, and
this is the 38th ward.
So from Irving Park on the west to what's the street?
Well, no, on the west it would be East River Road or Cumberland. A lot of people don't know what East River Road is. It's only a small street for 4 blocks. So basically Cumberland to the west.
Okay.
And Laramie to the east.
Okay.
So it's a narrow ward. The furthest south I go is Belmont, and the furthest north I go is Lawrence. So as our listeners could see, it's a very narrow ward.
Okay. So is it a large ward or
everybody's the same right now.
Okay.
So 10 years after the census, then some wards are larger than others.
Okay.
When I was elected to the 36th ward, at the time it was the 5th largest ward in the city. I had 65,000 people at that time.
Okay.
This time around, or as of when we all took office, everybody was supposed to have 55,000. So I'm sure the numbers have already changed 6 years later. Once there's another 4 years from now, the numbers will be drastically different for some wards. Some people will have 50,000, some will have 70,000. So.
Okay, so you said that you took office in 2011?
2011, I was a fireman who had a passion for public service, and I always had an interest in running for alderman. I did run in 2007 and didn't fare too well, but I didn't give up. I ran again in 2011, and I did pretty good, and I won. And second time around, I was faced with a tough decision when I was destroyed, when my ward was basically taken away from me. 80% of my ward was mapped out.
Okay.
And I decided to run in a different ward, which was the 38th ward, which was fairly close to 50% of the 36th ward. So that
so neighboring ward.
Neighboring ward, and like I said, 50% of the stuff in the new 38 was old 36.
Okay, so you said that you're a public servant, but you're also a lifelong Chicago resident.
Northwest side my whole life. Yeah, I came pretty much from the whole same area, from this whole little corner of the northwest side of the city.
Okay.
Born and raised there, went to elementary school there. The high school I went to was in the suburbs, but across the street from the high school is my ward. So if you come right on Belmont here and you come right across the street there, that's the high school that I went to. So so this ward is bordered by Elmwood Park, River Grove, Norridge, and Harwood Heights.
Okay. So we were discussing this, earlier today before the show. You were the most opposed to the current mayoral administration when you came in.
First time around, I wouldn't say most, but I was one of the most.
You were opponents, right?
Right. I believe I was the fourth opposed the mayor, the fourth. And when we say opposed, I mean I wasn't an obstructionist. I just couldn't agree with everything he said all the time. And I always had a problem, and if you think about something, if you were to be involved in something with somebody for 4 years, and all the different things you talk about, to me it's a near impossibility to agree with somebody 100% of the time.
Right.
So if you and me went out to lunch 5 times in 1 week and went to a place that had 2 different choices, I could almost guarantee you there's no chance that every day we picked the same thing. So
Absolutely.
So I was always a little baffled by that, how people could 100% agree with the mayor all the time, and I believe some people paid the price for that. So
Okay, so how has things changed since then? How are things going now?
there hasn't been a lot of controversial issues. Been a few. I see Dick Simpson posted something recently. I certainly wasn't one of the most vote no on the mayor's agenda, but I was up there. But like I say, again, it's not about being an obstructionist. It's believing what I believe is the right thing to do for my constituents, for my community, and just sometimes I don't agree. I will say our relationship has gotten much better this time. We have gotten along much better this time around. I'm proud to say that. I never really felt he ever did anything to really try to hurt me with services or anything like that. I always felt things went pretty smooth in the old 36, and now I think again in the 38. So.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you were an advocate for your community and you were being a public servant to me. So not at all obstructionist.
That's what it's all about. You got to do what the people want. So.
Right. Well, if you're just now tuning in, we are having a discussion, a live discussion with Alderman Nicholas Sposato of the 38th Ward here in Chicago. Please pick up the phone and join us at 312-738-1060. One of the things that I am always amazed about your ward when we have I have the opportunity to talk to you, is the safety of your ward. It is one of the safest wards in the city. Can you tell the audience a little bit about that?
Well, it's just people care about each other, look out for each other. I mean, it is Dunning, half of the ward is Dunning, half of the ward is Portage. They are 2 of the safest communities in the city of Chicago. I always tell people, don't go by what I say or don't believe me. Just check out Chicago Magazine or any periodicals. They're just good, safe communities. Sometimes I do get a little frustrated, though, because my entire ward is in the 16th Police District. The 16th Police District is 30 square miles.
Okay.
The entire 38th Ward and the entire 41st Ward is in there. And we also have the 29th Ward, the 36th Ward, the 30th Ward, the 31st Ward, the 45th Ward, the 39th Ward. So we cover a lot of ground. We have a real issue there with lack of the amount of police officers. So we have less than 200 police officers to cover 30 square miles. To me, it's a little unacceptable. We do have a community meeting with Superintendent Johnson on June the 9th. And we're going to ask him, that's going to be one of the main things we're going to ask him to address. So he's not there to talk about crime in the ward. There is crime. We're not crime-free. I can't deny that. It's more petty crime. And we strive for no crime. But, I just believe we need more police officers in the 16th District / 38th Ward. I believe we get cheated for being a good and a safe community.
Oh,
So
they
that's
take it for
something-
granted.
They take us for granted, like, okay, we only need, less than 200 here, where some other areas that have their problems, that are a fraction of the size, they'll get double the police officers.
Okay. So you said that this meeting is June 9th. Is it open to the community?
June 9th, it's open to everybody, actually, so we're not going to stop people from the 41st Ward or 45th Ward, whoever may want to stop by. I asked him to come out. He's a good guy. He took me up on it a while ago. So I just look forward. I just want people to be there to ask their questions and let them know, what's going on and some of their concerns. So,
So where will the meeting be?
The meeting is going to be at St. Francis Borgia, which is at 8033 West Addison. So it's kind of at the west end of the ward, but I needed a place that had easy access for seniors and it can accommodate a few hundred people. So that is the reason we are so far west rather than the middle. There is really only one place we could be in the middle, but we'd have to go in the basement there, and they've had meetings there in the past, and it's difficult for seniors to get downstairs.
Gotcha. Well, I believe we have our first caller of the evening.
Hi. Caller, how you doing?
Yes, hello there. I have a question about the Airbnbs. That seems to be in the news lately, and with City Council just looking at it, I believe, last week. My understanding is that the City Council is looking at maybe higher fees and more regulations on Airbnbs. I just want to see what you think about it.
I think that was pretty much resolved with everybody for a fair compromise with the Airbnb people and some of the aldermen that had concerns. Obviously, it's not a big issue in my ward. It's not the kind of place that people would go to for Airbnb. It'd be more of the downtown Lincoln Park type stuff. But from the people I talked to from Airbnb and some of the aldermen, I believe we came up with a fair compromise for everybody.
Okay. So we were talking about, the 16th district and how we're going to have that meeting on June 9th. You indicated earlier, prior to us coming on air, about your ward night. How do you handle ward night in your ward?
Well, my ward night's a little different than most ward nights. So most of my colleagues, when I talk to them, their ward night or late night, whatever I want to call it, is pretty packed. Mm-hmm. My ward night / late night is almost, nobody almost comes. Well, and that's because if you come to see me on a Tuesday afternoon at 12 o'clock and I'm there, I see you. If you come to see me Thursday morning at 10 o'clock, I see you. So I see 3 to 5 people a day, every day, that just pop in that want to see me and talk to me. So I believe that's one of the reasons why I don't, a lot of people don't come in on Monday night because they pretty much know they can come anytime to see me. I almost see them to a fault. Okay. But if I'm there and people want to talk, they don't want to hear that, come back, next week or 2 weeks from now at, 7 o'clock. So I just try to accommodate the people, and I believe they really appreciate that, because some people just think they should be able to pop in an alderman's office at any time and talk to them, but, I try my best to accommodate everybody.
Okay, so you're accessible. I'm sure your constituents
I'm an accessible guy. I go to everything. I mean, this is an intense job. Summertime, certainly 80 hours a week. Wintertime, maybe more like about, 65 to 70, but there's always something, there's always meetings, there's always events, always speaking engagements. You just can't be everywhere, but I believe most of the people understand.
Okay. Again, if you're just tuning in, we are talking to Alderman Sposato of the 38th Ward. Please pick up the phone and join in the discussion at Political Forum. One of the things, Alderman, I don't know if you noticed, but Ken TV has this lovely new studio here.
Lovely is not the word. I would call it awesome studio. So
a nice, awesome
if you're
studio.
comparing this to the Wayne's World old studio to now, I mean, you guys made the big time. I mean, this is just, I always love coming here because you guys treated me great, and it's always a pleasure to be here, but wow, this is pretty impressive. This is just a nice place. So congratulations to everybody that worked on this and what they did, but it's just really a nice place.
And we thank the aldermen like you who support Can TV and the things that we're trying to do for the community. One of the things that we have been able to do now is we can actually show the audience your great website. So I'm going to show the audience your website, and it is www.aldermansposato, SPOSATO.com. So the audience, if they ever wanted to find out more about what's going on with your office, they can always log on to your website. Is there any other special features about your website?
Well, I would think more so than the website is our email blast, our weekly email blast. We put a lot of information on there. Of course, Facebook. Between those two, we have a weekly email blast we put out about every Thursday, between 4 and 5 o'clock. That's all the upcoming events, what's going on in the ward. And then on Friday, we blast the same thing on Facebook. So it's a good way of, sign up for my emails, go to aldermansposato.com, and you can sign up, and we'll put you on the email list. And weekly, you'll find out what's going on in the community. We do our email blast a little different than a lot of my colleagues. Ours is more of a billboard type thing, where we just blast events at parks and schools and just different things that are going on, whether it's construction going on. We're always trying to keep you informed about what's going on.
Okay. So there are so many communities in Chicago. I believe there are 77 in
77,
total.
That's what I'm told.
77 communities in Chicago, and we have a lot of great points of interest. So I'm going to play a couple of little games with you. If I had to ask you, what's your busiest intersection? Which intersection would that be?
Yeah, I'd probably say it's Harlem and Irving, which is the borders of the city. Certainly Harlem and Irving, or Central and Irving, are both pretty busy corners, but probably Harlem and Irving's a little bit busier. The north side of Irving, though, that is Norridge, and then the south side of Chicago is my ward. And my office is pretty much right there at Harlem and Irving. So.
Okay. Again, this is another flash round, I guess. I can call it that. What is the most popular park?
You know what? I have all great parks. I wouldn't say any of them is the most popular park.
Okay.
I have 5 really good parks.
Okay.
2 of them have pools. They're day camps. They're busting at the seams. So all my parks are great. I really couldn't say which one is better than the other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess if people like to swim, I guess they would say Portage or Shabona is the better parks.
Okay.
But all 5 of them have nice playgrounds. I built 2 new playgrounds at Hiawatha Park and Shabona under my watch the first time around in the 36th Ward. But if you were to take a look at any of our parks, and if they're just unbelievable. These new state-of-the-art parks are it's just a pleasure to see the kids out there every day at Hiawatha and Shabona, and of course Merrimack and Portage and Dunham, which I had nothing to do with, but Shabona and Hiawatha that were built under my watch. It's just a pleasure to see literally hundreds of kids out there every day.
Okay, so I guess if I was, elementary or high school age student, the first thing I would want to know is, when do the pools open?
I believe the pools open after Memorial Day usually.
Okay.
So yeah. But Portage has an indoor and an outdoor pool, and Shabona has an indoor pool that's open year round. And they have many programs for seniors and kids. So yeah, they have a lot going on there.
Okay. You also are a big advocate for the pets.
I am a big pet advocate.
Yes.
You're right. I have a rescue every year.
Mm-hmm.
This year I'm having 2 rescues. I'm having one at the last Saturday in June, and one the last Saturday in August, both at Hiawatha Park. We've been fairly successful in the past. Last year wasn't as successful as I would like it to have been.
Okay.
But the year before, I got 20 pets rescued. So
Okay.
I'm striving to get that again, 20 in June and then 20 in August. So.
Okay, so you rescue the pets from the community and...
Well, no, we have animal care and control comes in,
Okay.
and anti-cruelty.
Okay.
So they bring the pets. We put the word out there. The reason for those 2 particular days is there's a big picnic type atmosphere for the baseball event they have every year, and then for soccer, and there's literally 1,000 people out there.
Okay.
So you can't get pets rescued if you don't have people there. So
Got
people have to be there to see the pets. A good thing I found out is more and more people that have one dog are getting another dog.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people that all the time. So a lot of people I know, not many people have one kid. So I always tell them, you don't have one kid, John, how can you have one dog? So your
Right.
pet needs a playmate, needs somebody to be with. They're home alone all day. I have 2 pets, 2 dogs myself. So I think more and more people are having the 2 pets rather than 1 pet.
Okay, so it's kind of like a pets on parade, on display.
Yeah, they're just there, and
Yeah.
people can come and check them out, and usually get there early because right the first half hour usually we get 5 or 6 of them rescued. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's usually like there's a certain dog, when they're pulling them out, I say this dog's not going to last, and pretty much usually that dog doesn't last. So
Okay. Again, if you're just tuning in, call us here at 312-738-1060 and join in the discussion with Alderman Sposato of the 38th Ward. Are there any major developments going on in your
yeah, well,
ward
we're
that
wrapping
you
them
wanna
wrapping
share?
them both up, which is a good thing. So
Okay.
that's people get upset about it sometime, but the majority of people are very appreciative of it. So we just had a deep tunnel project that's wrapping up this Friday. I was told it was a $15 million project, so we're hoping that this project alleviates flooding in the area. It was Montrose, basically from Narragansett to Menard. So I'm sorry, not to Menard, to Melvina. So we're hoping that alleviates flooding for people. And we got a resurfacing on Irving from Cumberland to Harlem. So those are 2 pretty big projects. We have something coming up starting June. We have Oak Park Avenue from Irving to Forest Preserve Drive. That's going to be totally reconstructed. We're going to have lights there. We're going to have sewers. We're going to have nice new streets. and hopefully that's going to pave the way for better things that come in the community that we have in mind, a multi-purpose park, and then our ultimate goal is to build a high school over there. So.
Okay. All right. So we have talked about a lot. Did you mention your deep tunnel project?
We did mention it, but there's one thing we didn't talk about that we talked about earlier. We wanted to mention and then about famous businesses in the world.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We did forget that. So I have one of the most famous businesses in the city of Chicago, and that's Eli's Cheesecake. And they are just such good people. They are just so generous, and they're so great to the community. Everybody knows them. They always have events. They have a Father's Day bike ride. He supports everything. He had a Hug a Cop event last July. He supported it. I had a teacher appreciation event last month. He supported it. But they're just a great business. They're just, it seems like every year, well, not every year, but whenever we're lucky enough to have a team make a championship, we're always betting the other city something, and our mayor always seems to put up Eli's Cheesecake. So, but yeah, it's a great business, employs a lot of people. They're just a good place. They're just a total asset to the community.
Okay, we have another caller. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I would just like to ask a question. I know we have 50 aldermen, but in the city of Chicago, we having all these murders and killings and everything, and it seems to me that none of these aldermen, they should be in an uproar about what's going on. Nobody is saying anything about it. The only thing, the mayor, he gets on TV and say a little stuff about, oh, we doing this and doing that. Do we need policemen? Do we need more policemen? Do we need more National Guards? Do we need more parents to take care of the kids? But whatever it is, I think all these aldermen need to come together and find some conclusion to stop this, because this is just ridiculous. And nobody is saying nothing. You are the alderman. Now, I'm not blaming you,
You asked a lot of questions there, so let me respond a little. So I wouldn't say nobody's saying anything. I mean, we've been talking about this a lot. I mean, certainly my West Side and South Side colleagues are really upset about this and trying. So this is a tough act to juggle. So I want more police officers, you want more police officers, but we have to pay for these police officers. So people have been actually telling me lately that, they're willing to do what we have to do to get more police officers on the street, which means they're willing to pay some more taxes. So to what degree, I don't know. We don't know what 1 or 2% tax increase, how many police officers that may get us. We don't know yet, but we have to figure this out. We have to figure this out with our budget. Yes, I don't think any alderman will disagree with you that we need more police officers on the street. They're doing a pretty good job from the numbers they have now and the amount of crime. But yes, we do not have enough police officers. And yes, also too, you mentioned about parenting. Yes, it starts at home. So parents need to set a foundation, watch their kids, pay attention to what's going on with them. And you mentioned the National Guard. That is not something I would support. Certainly not in my community. I don't know if other communities would support it, but I would not be for that. But then again, I do live in one of the safest communities in the city of Chicago.
Okay. So we are almost at the wrapping up point. And it's always a pleasure for to have an opportunity to interview you. What is your vision for your ward? Where would you
Well, my big vision is, I mentioned in there, that high school that we want to build. I have awesome elementary schools. I have 11 schools in my ward. All the public ones are just way overcrowded. We need to do something about that. People are facing tough times now. We're built a new annex at one of my schools, Canty. I'd like that. I'd like that high school / junior high. So,
okay.
So that's my big hope.
Okay. To continue to expand on what you have.
Well, we just need a community high school. I mean, we really don't have one. So
yeah.
Everybody in the 38th ward is forced to send not forced, but choose to send their kids to private high school. So.
Okay. Okay. Well, is there anything that you would like to leave, any nuggets or gems you would like to leave our audience before we wrap up today?
No, I just want to, thank everybody for the support. It's a great community, awesome schools, awesome parks. If anybody's in Springfield is reaching out, we need you to be fair to Chicago and give us the 20 for 20, and that would be about it.
Okay. Well, again, I am your host, Dartesia Pitts, one of the board members here at CAN TV. You can see us here next week with our next guest on Political Forum, who will be Alderman Howard Brookins of the 21st Ward. So, we are signing off from, I would say, Wayne's World Revamped 2.0. Have a good day.
Thank you.